Yeah, when he started, it was like, what?
Good to go, Bill? Okay. We'll give us our couple of seconds here. All right, here we go. So, welcome everyone to our January meeting. We will call tonight's meeting to order. And if you would join me with the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oops. All right. And I will do the roll call here. Commissioner Kibble.
I am here.
Commissioner Ettinger.
Here.
Commissioner Jetter.
Here.
Commissioner Provo.
Here.
Commissioner Botville.
Here.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And Commissioner Callahan, not present. Commissioner McAllister, not present. Commissioner Schmitz,
Present.
welcome. And Commissioner Underwood is unavailable this evening due to a road commission conflict. So, all right, we have a quorum. And we will go to our first public comment. I will read the rules. Any person shall be permitted to address the Parks and Recreation Commission, which is required to be open to the public under the provision of the Michigan Open Meetings Act as amended. Public comment shall be carried out in accordance with the following board rules and procedures. Any person wishing to address the commission may state his or her name and address. No person shall be allowed to speak more than once on the same matter, excluding commissioners' questions. The president shall control the amount of time each person is allowed to speak, which shall not exceed 3 minutes. The president may, at his or her discretion, extend the amount of time any person is allowed to speak. No member of the commission or staff shall respond to any public comment. All commenters must refrain from any personal or political attacks on any member of the public, staff, or board. No profanity, harassment, or bullying will be tolerated and will provide just cause to be removed from the meeting. One note, we do not currently have a president, as we've not gone through our election of officers, so we'll substitute president for director at this particular time during this first public comment. Do we have anybody for public comment? All right. With that, we will move to our election of officers, and I will open the floor for nominations for president.
I'll nominate Rod Kibble.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a nomination for Rod Kibble and a second. Do we have additional nominations?
Move to close nominations.
All right, motion to close nominations.
Second.
And recognized by unanimous decree.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
He was waiting to get this.
Yeah.
There we go.
So, we're going to move on down to election of vice president. And I'd like to open the floor for any nominations for vice president.
I'll nominate Grace Ettinger for vice president.
Support. And nomination by Jalen, support by Charlie. Any other nominations for vice president?
Make a motion to close the nomination process and proceed by unanimous decree.
Decree.
I like that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Great.
Thank you all.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank
Grace. Election of secretary. We'll open the floor for nominations of secretary.
I'll make a motion to nominate Jalen as secretary.
Support. Support by, motion by Grace, support by Charlie. Any other nominations for secretary? Do I have a motion to close the nominations then?
I'll make it.
Okay. Motion to close the nominations, by, filling it up.
Unanimous decree.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Unanimous
Thank you. Jalen's got it. All in favor, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
That's a good
All right.
status quo.
By unanimous decree.
Get a good thing going.
Very good. We've got to work on a little bit the adoption of some standing committees. These are the same nominations that we've had. We're going to start with the Strategic Planning Committee. not to exceed 6 members, with a minimum of 4 parks. Now, we can't go over 4 either, because then we'd have a quorum. So 4 parks, and then, John, I believe we still got our citizen members.
Yes, we have one that's is currently joining us, or has been joining us. Mark Ewing.
Mark Ewing has been coming,
Yes.
so I think that we'll leave it at the citizen members. I know it will be another chance for a citizen member, and we would take anybody that you know that would like to come, please do that. So Strategic Planning Committee, anybody want to speak up and say, I'd like to be on that committee?
I'd like to be on that committee. I enjoy it.
Jamie, you've been on it, and
Yep.
very representative. So we've got Jamie.
And Commissioner Underwood has expressed an interest in continuing.
Yep.
I can't do Tuesdays still, or
Okay.
otherwise I would. It's a great little group.
I was going to ask Grace.
Yeah,
I
I'm
know
sorry.
you've been on it and have been a good input to it.
Yeah.
Your background really helps us every once in a while. So we'll just call you.
Yeah, just let me know.
Anybody else for the Strategic Planning Committee?
It's fun.
I'm willing to serve on it, but I will just note that I cannot serve on all the committees at
I
once.
know, I
So,
mean-
so if you intend on me being elsewhere,
We meet
know-
more often than Rules Committee does.
I'm certain of that.
Yeah, the Rules Committee, you're not getting off from.
I understand that. And TVAs, I know we've got a good relationship going there as well.
I'm happy to
Dave?
participate
Okay.
in any committee where you would find it useful.
I think, to be very honest, that Strategic Planning Committee can use a lot of input,
Yeah.
and that's what it's there for,
Yeah.
is more of an input. Because so much stuff, brand-new stuff comes through that committee all the time. So if you'd like, definitely
Yeah.
be on that.
I'd be happy to participate.
Your educational background can be quite valuable with our educational opportunities that we're bringing to Kent
Sure.
Rallick.
So that would be, so we'll take that. I have been on that committee, but I've been on it for way too many years. I can still serve. I mean, if that's okay or not, if somebody else.
My problem is I just have meetings every night.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's valid.
All right.
Do we need more?
Right, it's your lucky day
Nope,
then.
we're good.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, we can't have more.
Nope, that's right. With that,
Chair and Vice Chair.
Chair and Vice Chair, definitely need that for that committee. Jamie, would you?
I would be happy to serve in that capacity
And I think
again.
you've been
Yes.
serving in that. So Jamie's chair and a vice chair from, well, Joe's not here, but Dave, I mean, are you interested?
If Joe is interested, then I defer to him with his experience. Otherwise, I can help in that role.
Elected by unanimous decree.
Voluntold him to be vice chair?
Yeah. So shall we select them by unanimous decree as
That's your choice.
chair be Jamie and vice chair would be Joe? All in favor?
Actually,
Aye.
We don't require a
this
vote.
is-
It's
this is-
entirely up
these
to
are your
president.
choice.
Oh, these are my choice?
These are your choice.
Oh,
This is
Mr.
all on
Chair.
you.
Okay. Boy.
No pressure.
All right. Let's do it. Let's do it that way. That's okay.
Right. And just to clarify that we are looking for a citizen member, correct?
Yes, we are.
One citizen member to replace
Yes.
Pete.
Yes.
And I'm just going to say it, we lost a lot of help with Pete Albers. He really brought an engineering kind of background and kind of that type of thing. And that's what's so powerful about that committee is because as these new things come by, and so if you know somebody in the community that would like to get involved with some diversified background, we're all for it. So please, and for the public, that if anybody's watching, we are definitely interested in that, and that's a lot of inputs.
Can you speak to the background that Mark Ewing has, just to maybe frame that for people as well?
Mark has been very, very helpful, had a lot of background with the Camp Greilich, and the Scouts and that programming out there. And that really helped us with some of the, I mean, he knows probably every foot of that building by name, you know, it was everything through there, and could help us with some of those decisions and what to take. But Mark is on, so
Yep.
but there's other things that we could use, so. All right, move down to rules. Jalen, are you prepared to stay on rules?
Certainly,
You do a
this
great job.
certainly aligns with my skill set well, so if that's what you'd like me to serve in, I'm more than
I
happy
would.
to do so.
I'd be happy to join him too, since I'm not doing strategic planning.
There we
so-
go. We
Those
don't
are
meet,
not
we don't
standing
meet
meetings.
on a standing basis. No, it's
Yeah,
very
we
ad
could
hoc.
schedule it based, yeah,
Mhm.
okay. Then I'll-
Okay, Grace. Do we need one more,
We have
right?
had 3 total usually, yes.
We had to kind of break.
I'll do it again if nobody else wants to be on it.
Well, I could take that one also,
Okay.
because it's a scheduled thing. Sounds like it's only as needed.
An ad hoc, yeah.
So
I'd say
I think
maybe
I
we
could
met
fit that one.
once a quarter at the most last
Perfect.
year.
Works for me.
Unless Jamie wants it.
It's all you.
Okay.
There we go.
No worries.
Sounds good.
Mix it.
Charlie, Jamie, Grace, 3 people.
Yeah, that's you.
Let's move that and close it.
And Jalen's the chair, right?
Darren Lynch, chair.
There we are.
And vice chair,
I don't care.
Grace.
Great.
Sounds great.
Sure.
All right.
all right. So, through that, Natural Education Reserve Advisory Committee, Joe has been doing that, and is still interested. I don't know if there's somebody else that would like to do that one. That is quarterly, strictly quarterly, so that one's not too bad. And
I am interested in that when it becomes available again. But I
Okay.
just want to put down that I am interested in
Okay.
doing some volunteering there as well, so, in the future.
Cool, Dave. We'll make it Joe for now.
Okay.
And
And you are also welcome to attend
Yeah, okay,
as an attendee.
fair
as
enough.
an attendee.
And if,
That's all.
and if you need help volunteering, I bet Rod can also help with that
Oh.
too.
I hear.
Jalen, are you still interested in that T-base?
If that's
You've done
capacity you
you've
believe
done
that I serve well in, I'm more than willing to do so.
And I think they're in a position right now where they're talking about some
Yeah, we've gotten-
improvements, and you've done some work.
We've gotten a lot of
getting those
progress
improvements
there.
started, so,
Mhm.
kind of rolling it over, saying, come on, T-base, come on, T-base.
Yes, that's
Cheerleading?
definitely is an accurate representation of our conversations we've had. More than willing to serve in that if that's what you believe is best.
I think it would be awesome.
Great.
I think we ought to keep that going. I mean, that is a very large chunk of property, a lot of attendees to
very
those
high impact.
programs, so. Jalen, I'd like to get you on that, the T-Bays, and that would be
Fantastic.
great. I think we've filled everything.
Yes.
Yay.
Okay. With that, we're going to move down to approval or additions to the agenda as it's written tonight. Do we have any changes? Anybody would like to make any changes to the agenda?
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented this evening.
Support.
I do have one.
I'm going to withdraw that motion, actually.
Sorry.
You gotta hop on
The
this thing,
title,
John.
I made an error in the title. I listed as Park and Recreation Regular Meeting. I did not see that. This is actually the Park and Recreation Organizational Meeting and Regular Meeting.
Indeed.
So if we can just add organizational and
Wow,
to
good
that
catch,
title,
John.
please.
Really would throw a lot of things off there. So I appreciate that, John. Thank you. I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda as amended this evening.
As amended? Support. Support by Andy. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Great. With that, we'll start out with the bylaws, John. I don't know if you wanted to bring up a few points on those?
I'll mention this real quick. So this is there's no changes to either of the two items that we see under item I, references and adoption of standing bylaws. So this is a standard practice that we re-adopt this at each of the annual meetings. And that's just to make sure everybody is aware of those documents and has an opportunity to see those. So we have the first item, Parks and Recreation Commission bylaws amended January 12th, 2023. And number 2, Parks and Recreation Commission operating rules and regulations amended January 20th, 2016.
And I think for everybody, those were included in our minutes. That's made it to 224
Sizable.
pages. So if, and they're a good reference if we have questions
Yep.
or things coming up. That's all I'd like to point out. Do we have a motion to accept those?
So moved.
A move by Jalen,
Support.
second?
I'll support.
Support by Jamie. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? John, we got them both, right?
Yes.
Good. Move on down to schedules.
Yes, the next one on the list is the adoption of our annual meeting schedule. And so that annual meeting schedule is mostly the same, so I will say it's mostly the same as our usual schedule. So it continues the first Tuesday for strategic planning. The exception is for November. So the first Tuesday in November is November 3rd. That is Election Day, and there's no space available in the building for that
Yeah.
day. So we would move that one to the second Tuesday, so it would be November 10th. And then our meetings, our regular meeting, we would continue on the second Thursday of the month. No changes to that throughout the year.
At 5:30 PM.
At 5:30 PM, correct.
Motion to accept that, approve that schedules.
I'll make it.
I'll second.
Charlie.
Charlie.
Support.
Support by Dave. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Perfect. Awesome. Special orders of business presentations.
We have no items on the
That,
special orders of business.
okay.
We do have items on the consent calendar, though. And so the purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items to be dealt with by one commission motion without discussion. Any member of the commission, staff, or public may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed therefrom and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such request will automatically be respected. If any item is not removed from the consent calendar, the action noted, receive and file, or approval is approved by a single commission action adopting the consent calendar. Item number 1 under receive and file is County and Regional Parks Act of Act 261 of 1965. Number 2, Central YMCA Report, November 2025. And number 3, Grand Traverse Conservation District Activity Report, October 2025. And no other items on the consent calendar at this time.
I'm going to pull item number 2, the YMCA report, please.
All right.
We'll have to pull that one randomly. That shows up every quarter or so onto our pull list.
Anybody else, like to pull it? Andy?
Necessarily want to pull it, but I just do have a question after the motion is to adopt has been filed.
Can we get a motion to adopt?
I'll make a motion that we receive, file, and approve the consent calendar with the exception of item number 2.
Second.
Second by Jamie. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Discussion.
Oh, sorry.
Discussion?
Yeah, you're all right.
Sorry, Andy.
My only discussion on item 1 is it's interesting to receive and file at 1965 Act. Has it been recently amended?
Not amended.
Okay. Are we going to audit?
Pardon me?
Are we going to audit the organization's compliance relative to the act at some point in time?
We had not discussed that. If that's an action that you would like to take as a commission, that's an action that we can perform.
We'll discuss it a little bit later during comment. How's that?
Okay, yeah.
Receiving filings, good practice at least.
Valid. We have a
So all in
motion.
favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? With that said, we go to number 2 and pull it out.
What I really wanted to discuss was I believe this year we will have before us, and certainly before the strategic planning team, option to renew a contract
Yes.
with the YMCA to continue operating the central YMCA location, as they refer to it as. John, I was hoping you could give us a rough rundown of kind of these figures. If you're satisfied with what you're seeing here as a director, what we're feeling from staff's viewpoint as we look back at the year that the YMCA has operated here, not just maybe 2025, but also their time that they've had, really starting to think about that at a larger scale as we move forward this year?
Okay, so they have been a positive partner. They've brought, actually just this week, they reopened their fitness center after having closed it for a few weeks, and they completely rebuilt the fitness center, put a significant amount of financial investment into that fitness center, and made it what is truly now a real fitness center as opposed to a large room with a few pieces of equipment in it. And so they've done a nice job with that, and so I'm very impressed. One of the things that we would like to have a conversation with them about when we go to renewal is the financial aspect of the agreement, and coming up with the ways that are a little bit more advantageous to the county.
As far as pool operation, that is, of course, really, I think the original reason why we brought them in is back then we used to say it's not financially advantageous for a county to operate a pool itself. Is that still what your belief is at this time?
Yeah, I still believe that that is the case. They do a fine job of operating the pool, but again, I just think we need to look at the financial part of that agreement and make sure that it's a little bit more advantageous to the county. But they have the expertise in managing that pool operation that we do not currently have in-house. Could we build that in-house? We could, but it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and what we have to look at is what is the trade-off. So if we did that, what can we no longer do, or what can we not do in the future with the remainder of our parks?
If I'm not mistaken, it's a state certification from the health department as well. For the
So,
operator.
there's a requirement under the state pool code to have a certified pool operator responsible for the pool. I am a certified pool operator.
That makes sense.
I also would like to draw attention to just the central unit breakdown that is represented on page 35 of our packet there. And it does break down in a pie chart there. Really a nice graphic. I love seeing that of where 45% is really a senior utilizing the YMCA at the central location. And I don't think we necessarily can always view that when we're picturing what's going on there without seeing it day to day. So that was really nice to see. 13% is also family, and I was surprised actually that number is as high as it is, given that some other locations, thinking of the west side one, more appeal to families. I was surprised to see the 13% number is there. Are you satisfied as well with those figures of the population that the YMCA is using?
Yeah, they've actually grown their swim lesson operation, so we've seen more families coming in for swim lessons.
Okay.
But the seniors, by and far, is the majority, both in the fitness center as well as in the pool. They've got a very, very active aquatic fitness program, and they run aquatic fitness programs all morning up until well after noon.
That's in addition to their lanes typically that they're running then, so it's
Yes.
not just lane focused?
Not just lanes. So they typically reserve 2 lanes for aquatic fitness, and then the remaining lanes, the remaining 4 lanes are lap swimming.
Okay. I think that's all the questions I have for now. I know certainly that will be coming to strategic planning later in the year, and encourage thoughtful consideration of continuing our good partnership, I believe, at this time, by the sounds of what your experience has been as well.
Yep.
Dave, I know you have a question?
Clarifying question about that chart that you discussed, Jalen. Senior is what age and above?
They use 62.
Okay. And was there a reason why they identify single-parent family? How does that differ from
Great question.
family?
Yeah, great
I-
question.
I'm
I
not sure.
don't know. I don't know the answer on that one. It's a
And
question
being
I can
that-
ask of them, though.
Being that we're discussing this, because I looked at this before the meeting, what determines current member count? Because if you look at the numbers, they differ quite significantly month to month, and I'm just wondering how that total is determined, because in October 2025, it was 874, and then it goes to 962. It just doesn't, I think that there's just a rhyme and reason to how those numbers are calculated, but being that this is a point of discussion right now, I'd maybe like a little bit more information on that, maybe for strategic planning in the future.
So their membership numbers, they ebb and flow, and a lot of it has to do with snowbirds. So you find that as people leave for the winter, they pause their membership. And so that'll change their membership. Then you're going to see a growth coming in January and February. We were just commenting on that today, that they're enrolling an awful lot of new members right now. So you'll see that along with their visits, and then come February and into March, you'll see those visits, spike in January, be fairly high in February, and then you'll see them decline again.
Thank you.
You shared some good insight in the past on that. I believe you used to be operating a fitness space.
A
So.
couple of fitness centers.
Yeah, we've tried reading into the numbers really in depth before, and much as you say, gosh, January, February, people make those resolutions, they come in, and then you have our snowbird fluctuation. It is hard to sometimes understand the exact base of users there,
Yeah.
but I really liked how they broke it out.
Yeah, things like their retention rate. You might look at that and say 65%, that's not a very high retention rate.
Yeah.
So it's a very high retention rate for a fitness center.
Mhm.
But there's factors that change that. So again, going back to snowbirds, when a person pauses that can impact their retention rate as well.
John, the fitness center and the upgrade, I didn't see clearly in that sheet that they break out some of the fitness center attendance. How is that going to affect? I mean, is that a good effect or?
It'll have a good effect on their membership growth initially,
Okay.
and I do believe that it'll have a good effect on their membership retention.
Retention?
Yeah.
Because I know that fitness center wasn't the best fitness center. I don't
It
want
was
to
the
say
hand-me-down
that way.
equipment.
Yeah, sure.
And it's now new equipment, much more plentiful, nicely laid out.
Do you think you could provide us pictures in the next update?
Yeah.
I don't think, maybe we did see them and I skipped them, but I don't
No.
think we've seen them.
They
Okay.
just opened it, what's today? Yeah, they opened it Monday.
Oh,
Oh,
So it's
That's why
close
we
to
haven't
3
seen-
weeks.
well, you were very timely letting us know then.
yeah.
They had quite a few pictures on the Facebook page
Okay,
that they
All
opened
right,
it
I'll
up.
check that out.
Looks
Yeah.
nice.
very impressed.
Actually, a final question I do have on that too. Have they expressed an interest in continuing the partnership there? I know
They have,
that
yes.
publicly they've said they've making some huge investments in the west location, but
Yeah.
they're willing to continue.
And that's one of the questions that they asked us when they were deciding to put money in. They're like, do you want to keep us around?
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah, very.
Very fair.
Okay. Anything else on that? I'll make a motion that we receive and file the Central YMCA report as presented.
Second.
Second by Grace, motion by Jalen. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Thanks for the discussion.
Thanks for the discussion. Actually, that turned out nice. Very good.
Were you doubting it was?
No. Okay. With that, moving on down.
All right, item number N, so the first item, budget report. So for the year, for our revenue, we reached 97% of the target, so we were very close to that for the rent. Shortfall was due to less than expected revenue from Bayfront scooters. So that was a bit of a challenge there, but 97%, I feel that's pretty good. Our membership rent was just a couple of percentages over our target, so we did well on that line. For expenditures, you'll see a couple things in there for December. So in advertisement, you'll see there two larger items, Christmas trees for holiday tree stroll and the Michigan Trails Magazine advertisement. So we did undertake that again. Contract services, we had continued payment to Spicer. They're continuing to do work for us on our natural education reserve overlooks. And then we had some payment to Pro Image Design. They did a wonderful job at creating the map for Camp Greilich. They used the same design conventions that we have for our Power Island and Civic Center map. Did a fantastic job, and we really appreciate that. That made a big difference in the park and gave us the opportunity to get it open and make sure that people could enjoy it and find their way around. And then under vehicle repairs, we did purchase tires for the truck. So a lot of snow plowing, needed better tires for that. For 2026, just a couple of quick notes. So you're not seeing that in the report right now, but we did receive our requested allocations and all of our requested budget items for the year. We are anticipating a modest increase in rental revenue on the budget. Since the budget was created, we've actually had a number of inquiries that give us great hope that we'll even exceed that number. We've had a few new things that have been added. One that's going to be really interesting to see running in Howe Arena is arena football. So we'll see that coming in is it March, the first one? Yeah, March and April. So more to come on that once we've got dates for you, but coming out and see an arena football game should be really interesting.
Is that with a partner or is that just a?
We're not running it.
Well, no, but is that with a partner or is that just a rental that's going
Yes.
through the process?
So they are renting it.
Okay.
And then
I wasn't sure, maybe like the roller derby club had set something up, or, yeah.
No,
Okay,
it's Northern
fascinating.
Michigan Muskies? Yeah, Northern Michigan Muskies is the organization.
All right. Almost sounds like a team.
It is a team.
Yeah.
Their arena football team.
Yeah, there's a few of them. So there's Northern Michigan Muskies. I think there's one in Grand Rapids, and one or two others around the state, and they'll play each other.
Fascinating.
Kind of neat. So we'll look forward to more information coming on that one. So, but we're already seeing a strong response for How Arena bookings. That one being one of those. Our expenditures this year, it's a mostly maintained budget, I'll call it. Our projects this year really focus more on human capital rather than a need for an additional amount of capital that's in the operating budget. But we do have a number of capital projects that don't show up in our budget. They actually show up in the county's capital improvements budget. So things like repaving the parking lot at Medalley, so that is on the budget. We also have a project to remodel the bathrooms at Medalley, and then also put a new roof on that same building at Medalley. Should the state do its award for the grant this year for the Vasa Trailhead, we will start that project this year. And then we're also looking forward to seeing additional projects going on at Civic Center. We have the pump track that is being funded in part by a combination of Norte and the Michigan Economic Development Corporation RAP grant. And then wayfinding signage in that park, as well as wayfinding signage in the rest of our parks. That bid is out now, and we'll have the bid packet back here. I think it was the 27th is the due date for that. And then select a vendor and have those signs installed in summer. And then the last one, big one for Civic Center, is the replacement of the south building, which we'll talk about a little further down in the agenda. So.
Great.
All right. The Strategic Planning Commission, or Committee. Jamie?
As we are at the start of the year and had not been formally reorganized, we did not have a meeting this month for January, so no report.
Rules Committee, Jalen, I know that hasn't met either.
Yeah, Rules Committee did not need to meet in the final quarter of the year, so we're satisfied at this time. I think we'll probably meet either in Q1 or early Q2, just as we often do, make sure things are running well, address any issues before summer comes.
Especially probably with anything, just a quick overview of Dry Lake.
Exactly.
Just,
Exactly.
you know, stuff we stumble on.
Yeah, get a few months under our feet there first and reassess.
Joe's not here. John, Natural Education,
Did not meet this month. The next meeting is January 14.
okay.
Or has not met yet.
T-Base, Jim?
Well, one of the items you see is on our agenda today that T-Base has discussed to move forward with. That will be replacing what is currently some snow fencing of mixed quality along Keystone Road there, and replacing it with something akin to a chain link fencing. I should note the last plan I saw, and the one I believe proposed is not chain link fencing. It is more of posts with chains between it, want to clarify, which is good because then you can remove that chain in the winter. It's not a hindrance to snowmobiles if they happen to go through there, for example. We'll discuss all of that here soon. Also, then they did just discuss, further grant opportunities that they're pursuing, some of them with the Great Lakes Sports Commissions. I know we continue to wait to hear more perhaps on where we're at with the MDNR grant process as well. It's going to be, I think, an exciting year for T-Base, so we're looking forward to seeing more as it develops further.
Very good. Awesome. With that, Road Commission, Joe is out. I don't know that we've got any update from Joe on,
I do not.
okay.
We are going to be meeting here in the next week or so to talk about the Beitner Bridge. So I should have more
Interesting.
information, or Joe should have more information at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Andy, Drain Commission, anything for us on,
Made the paper last week, yes. The county board has asked for some service from the Drain Commission office to work with the Antrim County Drain Commissioner on, what would be the best word to describe it, recertifying the special assessment district for Elk Lake and Skagamog Lake, which is controlled by Elk Rapids Dam. Huge watershed.
huge?
So I didn't volunteer for any committees or anything. I've got plenty of stuff to do.
That's fair.
All right. And then County Board Representative is not with us tonight, Brian McAllister. I don't think there's anything out of the county board that's apart. With that, John, your director's report.
Sure, just a couple of short things here. So one short but very important, we opened Camp Greilich on December 4th, so it's very exciting for that. Don't have numbers for you yet. We do have a counter at the entrance, but we'll be pulling numbers off that here in the next few days, and I should have those for you at the next meeting. But what we do know is that the response has been wildly positive. We've had great feedback from folks. It's so amazing to be able to see smiling faces out there and see people out and enjoying the park. Kara put together a winter solstice walk on December 21st. It was our first public organized event there, and she had 75 people there, along with the folks from North Sky Raptor Sanctuary. They brought Walden the owl. Walden was a big hit, and then a Luminaria lit trail going from the pavilion out to the point at the lagoon and back. So lots of smiling faces, lots of happy people enjoying that. So thank you for putting that together. Yeah, and like I said, it's just been fantastic seeing people out there and seeing the response. I was telling somebody just yesterday that I went out there the first day that the park opened. We had a snowfall just a couple days before, and you wouldn't. Disc golfers are a hardy bunch. You might not know just how hardy they are, but I caught a group as they were out on hole 9, and they carry a snow shovel with them. And so they carried the snow shovel, and that is the etiquette for disc golfers. If you're the first out there and there's snow, bring a snow shovel, shovel off the the tee pads for the next for your group and for the next group, and that's so they don't trample down the pads and basically don't want to make that icy for anybody else. So we have since put a shovel at the main kiosk for the park with a sign that basically says, if you're the first ones here, either bring your own shovel or use this shovel. We just ask that you bring the shovel back at the end and put it back. So, but yeah, it was good stuff. Winterfest, January 24th. So we are once again for the third time hosting our Winterfest event. Saturday, January 24th, 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock. That'll be at Civic Center. And that is right out in front of Civic Center near where our holiday tree stroll is, which was a great hit this year. Generously sponsored by DTE, and those trees will remain up. I know it is past the holidays. It is past Take Your Tree Down Day.
Winter trees.
They are winter trees now. Yes, so they've transitioned, and they're still bright and cheery. It's fun driving into the park every morning and seeing all those lights going. So they will remain up through January 24th. So if you come out on that event, which we hope you all do, then you'll be able to see those one last time.
John, would you repeat those times for
Sure.
that 24th?
11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on January 24th at Civic Center. We've got quite a few partners that are going to have fun events and games and activities for the whole family. Just added another one today.
Will North Sky be there?
Pardon?
Will North Sky be there?
North Sky will be there.
Excellent.
They've got a fun game as well, and I'll bet they'll have a bird.
That's usually the attraction.
And then the last one that I'll mention.
And food and.
oh,
and
food,
some of
yes.
that Food and, the picnic area is open, or the?
Yes.
the-
Hangry's concession will be there and
Great.
Cool.
joining us as well. And then one last item, our Paddling Film Festival World Tour is back, so we'll be doing that on Wednesday, April 22nd. So tickets will be $12 in advance, $10 at the door. If you're lucky, you might see an early bird sale coming out where you can get tickets for a little bit less than that. So we'll be launching the ticket sales at Winterfest. So
Just
through a
to
new
quick-
platform that'll be super smooth and easy.
Quick question related to that. Did you say it was $12 in advance and $10 at the door? So I'm going to
If I
wait
said
and
that,
not
I
buy
was
it in
completely
advance,
wrong,
but
so-
save $2 when I just show up?
$12 in advance, $15 at the door.
Ah,
Thank you for
there
the
we go.
clarification.
oh,
Just went up, just for you.
But that other number that I gave you might be a hint of what the early bird pricing might look like.
Interesting.
That-
Are we gonna have reviews of the films again?
Absolutely we will.
Everybody gets to review a few films?
Yeah. So they just sent something out today that has their new artwork and said that they have the new films available for preview. So we'll be getting that together and getting that out to folks so you can take a look at those and give us feedback and help us rank them.
Well, that doesn't mean you can't come. You just get to look at the films, so. All right.
Definitely a good time. It definitely has a different impact, seeing it with a crowd of people who are passionate about their sport and then seeing it on a large 22-foot screen.
And I just saw something about, there's a film another outdoor film festival from Marquette that they're doing
Yes, the
here.
Fresh
You
Coast
guys,
Film Festival
them
is
are
just
coordinating
after,
them.
did we say? Yeah, so it's a
That
week or
might-
two after.
That might be worth like coordinated branding or some, I don't know, reaching out to those guys. Because I imagine they'll get a big crowd. That's the
Yeah.
Boardman Review folks putting that on, I think, so.
It's actually, I think, yeah, they're partnering with
Yeah.
them.
Mhm.
And John, is it coincidence that it's Earth Day or not? Just coincidence?
It's a coincidence.
Fully planned, of course.
We do have another event that's related to Earth Day, so it's a recycle, what was it called? Recycle Smart. No, Recycle Smart. Makerfest, thank you. There we go. I had to think about what that was. Makerfest, we do that in partnership with our Recycle Smart, which is a county department, and Traverse Area District Library. So that'll happen a couple days before or after. I can't recall which one, but it happens on a Saturday. End of my formal report.
All right. So with that, we'll move on to, I think we don't have any old business, move on to new business. Proposal for fencing at Keystone Soccer Complex. John?
I'm going to put something up on our displays here and get it to go. So this is what's in your packet already. There we go. They're already warming up. So I just wanted to kind of narrate one of the things, or what you'll see in here. So there's several documents in here for permanent fencing for Keystone. So they are bringing to us a proposal for permanent fencing at the Keystone Soccer Complex. What you're seeing right here on this first page is their budget for that, and then I guess an architect's rendering there. How do you like that? Of the of the post and chain fencing that they are proposing. Where that fencing is going, you might be asking. Well, here's where that's going. In this image that I need to figure out how to make smaller.
Right along the railroad track.
There we go. Okay. So if you look towards the top of this picture, you'll see all these cars at the top of the picture. That is a temporary parking lot. You can see the orange snow fencing here, as was referred to in varying levels of quality. And so this is an area that T-Base has been using for the last couple of tournaments. And what they're looking to do is they're looking to take down that snow fencing and put something more permanent right along the line where you see my cursor running. And that would basically create a barrier between the vehicles and the field.
Also note that installation is required by Michigan Rail to have fencing installed there. So they have coordinated with them appropriately on this matter as well.
Yep.
Also in our packet was a review from the assistant chief for GT Metro there, noting that while it would not be in compliance for emergency vehicles to pass through, they are aware of that and they're aware of other access points. And therefore, they are not concerned with that matter at this time for GT Metro.
Yes. So that is right here from Assistant Chief Belcher.
When I read that, I did not get the impression that they weren't concerned about that. I read all
There-
this like fire concerns, and that kind of struck like ooh, I don't know how I feel about putting a permanent structure here without taking into account a turnaround.
Yeah, they're willing to accept it. They're willing to accept that. They do have a concern. They wanted to share that, and that concern was that they would not be able to turn a vehicle around in that
Right.
space,
And
and they're
like,
not
as
prepared to
our
back a
park,
vehicle down.
Are we okay with that? Like, that's something that I found a little concerning,
Yeah.
having a large parking lot without emergency access, knowing how many people can be there. I don't know. I thought maybe before putting in something permanent, we take a step to think about what design might look like to make it compliant.
Okay. So I would say that in the event of an emergency, if they had to get down there and turn a vehicle around, if it were me driving that, I would.
I know there's grass, like I see it's physically capable, but based on what it sounded like from that correspondence, they basically were saying like, we're not going down there.
And I would drive right down here. I would drive right down here and turn that vehicle around. If it came down to it and a life is at stake.
I
I'm
hear what you're
driving-
saying,
okay,
John, but that's
yep.
not what they said in the email.
Fair
So
enough.
I feel like I need to go by what they're saying, that like, I don't know. I'm
Yep.
just raising this as like something to consider.
My
I guess.
interpretation of it was that this parking lot may not be in compliance with what they normally would utilize. But I think what John is implying, as well as the same that was implied there, is that there are other points of access, so they're willing to look past that for the purpose of this installation, is why they're accepting it. I think they would have the option, if I'm not correct, if I'm correct, John, they would have the option of simply refusing that as well and saying that this is a concern and they don't authorize it. They
Yes.
do have that ability as well.
Yes.
So this is the middle zone of, it's not in compliance, but there are ways around it for them, is my interpretation of that.
Yes.
Are there other, maybe just like for my own
Mhm.
knowledge, are there a lot of parking lots in the county that have this? Like, is this a
No.
problem? Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. Okay.
And when you were saying, John, that you'd go down the grass, I reread what they said, and they said that we cannot drive on a grassy area. They stated that in there. I thought I remembered something about them saying that, about a grassy area. But I mean, if there were an emergency, how does T-Bays currently handle? Has there been a circumstance where an emergency vehicle has had to come to T-Bays? Where have they entered? How have they dealt with that emergency? Because that would prompt us to determine whether or not this driveway even matters in the grand scope of emergency planning. I'm likely they have an emergency plan already in place, I would assume. I have not read it.
There is a plan in place. They've reviewed that with our emergency manager.
And so maybe, even though the fire department is saying that they would not travel down this road, maybe that's not even part of the emergency planning process that they've established already in their core documents.
Andy?
I apologize for not having read or briefed myself on this, but I'm just curious as to what an emergency vehicle is. If we're talking
I
about
think
a
you're talking about ambulance.
They refer to
Ambulance.
ambulance and fire
Well,
truck.
Does it say ambulance?
Yeah.
Ambulance and fire truck is mentioned in there, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, it does say in here, we're definitely open to debate on this for sure. It does say in here the only time they would utilize that space is in a true emergency, which is what I would hope, to be fair.
They're not just driving down there casually, yeah. Right.
So they do recognize that in an emergency, they would use this space. They mentioned they can get down there. I'm summarizing at this point. They mentioned they can get down there. They can pull their vehicle down there.
Yeah.
They're not super comfortable backing up a big fire truck, nor would I be, let's be fair. And that's why they would only utilize that space in a true emergency. But it sounds like they would be able to access that space in the event of a genuine emergency happening where they required their response down that lane.
And that was my interpretation from his
Okay.
Yeah.
message as well. To answer your question, there have been instances where they've had to have emergency vehicles there.
Mhm.
They've entered off either Bermley Road or they've entered off the roundabout.
Yep.
And then they access the fields from the parking lots and the roads that go.
And my assumption is the emergency is generally not located in that parking lot.
It
It's
could be.
located on the
Certainly
field.
could
It could be.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Generally, their
say it's more likely.
experiences have been on the field itself.
On the field, yes. So you see there's a road here at the bottom of where my cursor is following, where the
Yep.
majority of the cars are. That follows
Right.
behind this tree line,
Right,
follows back down here, and then exits out at the back of the park at Bermley.
right.
Mhm.
So it does also kind of sound like them saying that, yes, they would use and go down that road in a true emergency, but then it also kind of alludes to then, we'd probably have to just go backwards to get out, which would also be much slower to get out versus going forward and hitting the gas.
Right.
So it would take more time for them to complete their task of getting to a facility, like a hospital.
And we did not have that letter from the assistant chief when we were discussing this with T-Bays as well, I should note. So I'm not sure, has T-Bays seen that letter as
That,
well?
so I had asked
Oh, okay.
T-Bays
You're
to
right.
contact the fire chief.
Yep.
And ask them to get that information from them and include that in the packet.
Okay.
So that came from Chief Belcher to T-Bays, which was then forwarded to me and included in the packet.
Another question, maybe Jalen may know a little bit too on this, maybe not.
Maybe.
We'll find
We'll
out
find out.
as our T-base representative.
Yeah.
and maybe it kind of goes to whether T-Base has seen this letter or not, is just when it comes down, and also maybe to John too, just in the greater perspective of kind of liability, and whether our legal folks have looked at this kind of a thing and the concerns from the fire folks, and if there was an incident, they had to take more time to get back out or to get out, something terrible that we don't want to happen happens, and would that either create a situation for T-Bays that they've allowed, or they've created a situation which is harder to receive emergency service, or I know we're a governmental entity, but from a does that just kind of create a difficult situation for us as well, because we also then allowed it?
So you're saying, does this create a hazard?
Legal liability. I believe is what you're
Yeah, I'm
asking.
kind of going down
And I
the
believe
legal
that would fall
liability
underneath our
hazard road.
tort
yeah.
immunity that we.
Right,
so
and I
kind
mentioned the immunity part and stuff too, but what about T-Bays?
T-Bays, though. Yeah.
They're not a governmental entity.
They're not, but it is our property, but they are responsible for that property under a land lease.
Right, and they're the ones that want it, so in theory, they could, I kind of look at it as that they could be liable if something bad happened because of this parking area.
But because T-Bays is operating, it does not absolve us from anything. So we are still responsible for the property.
Right. Which is on the liability
I wonder, there is a line here that might be a recommendation, although I'm not necessarily clear on the procedure of doing so. They say this area was never part of a submitted site plan change. Maybe the recommendation is that this become part of the site so that the fire department accepts that plan, considering this particular space that was not approved by them previously. I mean,
Bring
because
it back
they're
to you, Base.
basically saying that
Bring it
this
back.
parking lot area was never part of it, so.
Well, it's always been part of the property, though.
Actually, it has not. So they've just started using that lane in the last year.
Whose land is it?
They created that lane. It was not there previously.
It's part of the land.
It's part of the land.
Yes.
So
As a
I think
parking
what-
lot, though.
just for
Just a new
clarification,
created
Yeah.
parking lot area.
It had
and that's
not
why I
been
asked
used.
about the emergency vehicle. Streets and roads are designed in accordance with these same considerations for turning radii for ladder trucks,
Right.
not for EMS vehicles or, so there's a standard of design that involves emergency vehicles, and the ambulance thing might be quite a bit different than the ladder truck thing. And the site plan approval process at Garfield Township or East Bay Township or any township involves a site plan that shows the property and the land uses on it. So I think that's what that line probably refers to, is that
Yeah.
when the site plan was approved for the soccer field, it didn't include a parking lot there on the plan.
So Metro Fire operates its own site plan review process, separate from the township's site plan review process. So this is not something that was on their original site plan review.
Sure, but the township typically won't approve the site plan until all those other entities, like the fire department, has offered their comments on it. I think
Right.
that's what that's probably referring to.
So that is an option for you. Kick that back to T-Base and ask them to go
I
through
was
that
gonna
process.
say,
Work out what needs to be done with Metro.
do we want to take and kick this back to T-Bays with the concern that it probably needs to be investigated, and we also need to know that they want to really go forward with this or not forward with this?
What I'm, along the same lines, what I'm curious is maybe an option for us here is we authorize the installation of said fence posts and chains should they receive a approved plan by GT Metro. Because if you could go down, I think it's a different page. There's another picture that's kind of a closer up one. Commissioner Callahan was showing me on his phone here. What page was that?
Oh, it was
Oh, you're just really
I
zoomed in.
just zoomed. I used my fancy phone to zoom in.
This one?
How far can you
Yeah.
zoom in on that part?
And I just zoomed
Zoom in
in on the
pretty
parking
close.
area.
And let's show, what was it, the front one you were kind of looking at?
Well, I was looking at the one at the bottom on how
Okay.
they've got the turnaround.
Yeah.
Granted, it's two deep cars, but same idea.
And let's keep in mind, this space
On the
is used
south
on
end, that
tournament only, is that right?
That is used, currently used for tournament only. Now, I
Okay.
would not, hang everything on that because
Okay.
it has been used for tournaments only, but having it there means that now it's available to use for something else.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
It's a
wouldn't,
public space.
So
Yeah,
if
I
you
wouldn't say
go
it's
to the
limited to
right a
that.
little bit, what we were
I
looking
can
at
do that.
is the other
One
right.
at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Is Commissioner Callahan was pointing out that area does look like it would probably be, there's like a U there, the dirt U.
It's a turnaround.
Yeah, that'd be hard,
Go
that would
back
be
out.
certainly hard,
Oh,
I
here.
imagine, to
Yeah.
handle a U-Haul in, let alone a fire truck.
Ambulance.
Right, so is it just dependent on, do you remove 3 or 4 cars from that end and you make it a larger space? None of us know this
Is
answer.
this
of course.
is this the
This
space? We're
isn't
not
the
talking
This
about.
isn't, but
This
this
is
is an
not the space.
example.
I think he's
Right.
using that as an analog.
Right.
We're talking about a.
You can't see the exact
Yeah, the
space
one
unless
by
you
the-
look
Go
at
to the-
I can.
pixels, I imagine.
I get it.
That would be further up to the, yeah. I mean, you can zoom in on there.
It,
Let's do it. Oh, okay.
I think my just concern is putting something permanent,
Sure.
but then we cannot go back and like create a turnaround or something,
Would your concern be alleviated if Metro said,
If they can say
if
we
they had a
can
plan that they
operate-
submitted and that they felt comfortable with?
that they can operate and get to the
Mm-hmm.
people in that lot safely without any sort of like cutting corner or like
Sure.
backing up slowly, that could be a problem, then I would be fine with that. But I think,
I think maybe we want to involve T-Bays and Metro and say, is
Yeah.
there a solution? Because this is a real, to me, it looks like this is real narrow. And there's, that other one, you had that big turn
Right.
at the bottom.
Right.
Because it was 4 lanes, or, 2 down the center
yeah.
and 1 on each side. Here, you've just got 1 lane down the center, and we can see right here, there's stuff sitting in that roadway. There's some narrow spots. I think maybe we should let T-Bays relook at this. They've gotten the letter now.
Yep.
Well,
And,
they forwarded it to me.
yeah.
but did they send any,
That letter was sent directly to them. And they
okay,
forwarded it to me and to included that in the packet for you.
But no other comment in regards to the content of the letter.
No.
I say we just kick it back to them
Yeah.
and say like, as is,
I'm
we have
happy
these
tabling it
concerns.
for now and
Yeah.
see if they can alleviate those, and if they can't, if they want to move forward with that as well. I would be
Yeah.
perhaps what we should do.
I think they should talk with
And I would
GT
be-
Metro.
I will talk with
Yeah.
our,
What would it
Yeah,
take?
I'd love to
you
hear
know, to get
more
them?
either on our end. I'd love to see T-Bays engage with Metro more, but one way or another for us to have more information about Metro's concerns. And maybe this is more of a common thing than we're aware of. I think of when they have the open space all cordoned off, is that an example of non-compliant but accepted parking situations as well, for example? It could be. I'm curious how frequent does that come up, maybe more than we're aware of.
That'd be great, yeah.
it'd be
Right.
awesome.
So I'll make a motion that we table the proposal for fencing at Keystone Soccer Complex.
Second,
Thank you.
Second by Grace. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Well, and I think, John, we just get it back to them,
Yeah.
and I think everybody kind of needs to noodle it, and
We meet again with them on Monday. We'll see what we can get, maybe if Metro can at least phone in maybe to that or something would be helpful even.
thanks, Jalen, for leading
thank
that
you.
up
Yeah.
and taking that.
all right. Second item on new business is selection of a commission delegate for the M-Parks Conference. So historically, we've had one delegate from the commission attend the annual M-Parks Conference. That is coming up again. It is, I did not put the dates on here, March 4th and 5th for that. And that conference will be held in Lansing this year. Be looking for a delegate to join us at the conference.
For the record, it was, of course, in Traverse City this past year, but we
Yes.
did have multitude of us attend. Can you go over the whole list of who of us attended again? It was most
I
of us.
cannot.
It was most of us.
Oh, you were there.
I know you were there, I was
there for a
there.
little bit. Rod was
It was
there for
pretty
a little
wide
bit.
open.
Us
I
four were
stopped.
there.
in and
So,
out.
I don't recall it.
A good
Right.
chunk of us
Yeah.
were able to
right.
go in part.
I would encourage maybe Commissioner Vossel to consider
Yeah.
it if you'd like, being
I,
new.
I looked at the website, lots of interesting sessions.
It's very
You
much
know,
so.
never a dull moment as an educator with conferences and training and vendors and all that. If I could be flexible and try to attend if no one else is available.
Okay.
I think that'd be great.
I've been going now.
Yeah, been a couple times myself.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm kind of feeling both ways. I'd like other people to have the chance. The one thing we've already talked about, John, is kind of meeting with our lawmakers while we're down there, both sides of the aisle, you know, our House and members and things like that.
Some of them have served on this very team.
Some who have served on this very team, and so, I mean, that was something we also talked about.
Sure.
We did that the last time, and I think we need to keep doing that.
Absolutely.
Up to, I'm fine with it, doesn't matter. What do you,
I'll have you nominate and select someone for,
okay?
the group can
No pressure, Jim.
vote on that.
Well, I don't want to override it, so other people can go. We just need to get in and see those folks. I mean, I think that's an important thing, so. You know, yeah, JR's down there, that's, but, we gotta remember, Betsy Kofia.
Oh, absolutely.
Served on,
Yep.
for a year.
Yeah, they both have
So, I
sat here
mean,
with us.
that's what both of them have,
Mhm.
and then, you know, so that, I think we need to get back in there and say
And-
hello.
And because it was local last year, were some of you just going during one day?
Yes.
Is that what
It's
you
like
did?
that at times, yeah.
So I'm also happy to go, like, there can be another delegate, right? But happy to go for a day, you know? I have flexibility, probably different than some, so I'm happy to it would be good, I was looking at the agenda, it's of interest, it would be another learning opportunity for me.
There's always some terrific
So-
work. Dave, if you want to, we can work that out. I mean, let's see what we got.
All right.
You're going down for all three?
Two.
Thursday, Friday, or
The fourth,
Wednesday,
fifth.
Thursday?
Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday. Okay. Well, let's look at the,
So you're gonna split it?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's look at the programming and see what matters, and
There you go.
maybe what we can set up for some visits with those past delegates and stuff like that.
Okay.
It'd be nice to get in their offices and
That was
remind them
necessary.
that they served with us and they can hold their hands to the fire. All right.
All right, last item on our agenda is renovation of the south building at Civic Center. So, in case you're not familiar with it, so the south building is the building that was originally serving as the Zamboni room for the Bubble. So the Bubble was an inflatable dome that was at the south end of the park. It was an inflatable ice rink. That fell down in '87, I believe it was, and they were to no longer return. So '89, Howe Arena was built. After that, that building served a couple of different purposes. One of those is what's called the sector, or it was a sector office for the Traverse City Police. And then for the last several years, it has served as the Norte Clubhouse. In addition to serving as the Norte Clubhouse, it also has two restrooms, which are by far not our most shining moment. That building was built in 1974. I believe the restrooms have not been renovated since 1974, so long overdue. So we put out a request, and one other piece to that, we as a county are currently in the process of working through design and a final design process for two buildings at the Lafreniere campus. One would be our Central Operations Building. The second would be the Emergency Operations Center 911 building. That Central Operations Building would house our Facilities Management Department. Facilities Management currently operates out of a building at Civic Center Park. When that Central Operations Building is complete, Facilities Management would move out of the park, and we would then no longer have a space, and then Norte is scheduled to occupy the the building is currently occupied by Facilities. At that point, we would no longer have a space on property to store necessary field grooming equipment and property maintenance equipment. So what we are planning to do, and what is in the RFP, excuse me, is originally to renovate that south building and add a 2+ bay garage onto the back of that. We had 3 bids for that. Cunningham Limp Richter Corporation, and Three Rivers Corporation. As a committee, we reviewed those three. We chose to have interviews with Cunningham Limp and Three Rivers Corporation. We liked aspects of both partners or both bidders' designs, but we needed some more information, so we'd asked both to come back with something a little bit more similar. In the conversations that we had, one of the things that we learned was that our differential for renovating the building and adding a garage onto it was very, very small between that and just ripping the whole thing down and putting something else up. And that really gave us the opportunity to think about that and say, well, we don't know what's in or underneath this building from 1974. And if we try and renovate this building from 1974, as we peel away the onion, what are we going to find? Is it going to end up costing us more? And do we just kind of put lipstick on a pig with that part of the building? So one of the things we asked them to come back with is give us a similar design to one another that is a renovate and add, and then give us a proposal for a rebuild. And we like the options that we've come up with. Based on what we saw from that, and after reviewing it as a committee, we are in the process of recommending Cunningham Limp for the project, for the design build project. Both were qualified, they had good ideas, but we really enjoyed the quality and the thoroughness of the Cunningham Limp proposal. And we do already have an existing relationship on numerous projects with Cunningham Limp, one of those being the Central Operations Building and the Emergency Operations 911 Center. They've been a good partner to work with, and along with their partners in architecture, lots of partner words in there. And with us today is Bobby Poplinski, VP and Chief Operating, what's that? Chief Financial Officer. All right. I knew there was a C and an O, but I didn't remember what the middle piece was. So I'd like to introduce Bobby and just have him say a couple of words.
Hello, good evening. Bobby Poplinski with Cunningham Limp. We're located here in Traverse City. Very excited and happy to be here and meet with all of you and discuss this project. Exciting project that we kind of knew was on the horizon when we got involved on the Central Operations Building and the EOC 911 facility. So we had some opportunities to at least know that this was coming down the path. Had no additional information other than this was a potential project, and got excited when it did come out for an RFP. A very well put together process that John headed. Went through, provided our original proposal, had thoughts on originally what was going to be a renovate, and at the same time we explored what could be a new build of that building. There's a few advantages to the side of renovating versus new build, especially when you get so close in cost between the two. The things that start coming up is the unknowns and speed. When you're dealing with a renovation, you start, as John said, peeling back the onion. You don't know the unknowns. So when we're going through and pricing an effort, we're making assumptions that we're not going to find something that is unexpected. So if you're going to go the renovation route, there's a little less surety into what that price would be as of right now. Of course, we would explore that down the line. You need to get there, but at that point, maybe you're down the path of renovation, and all of a sudden the number has jumped. The completely new build scenario provides you with surety of timing. You know exactly the product you're going to get at the end when you build that new facility. I do believe this was a great decision to go that route, and appreciated the effort to be able to provide a supplemental proposal that would allow you to do more of an apples to apples comparison between ourselves and anyone else. So I think through that process we gave a design that was based on John's thoughts of what a new build could look like, and we priced that version, which would be a structure similar to this, and has kind of that recessed bay back, because that sits on the current footprint of the current building, and then it recesses back to where the parking lot is. Great opportunity to build new, have a new facility. You get a new shelf life to that building versus extending a weathered old building. This will now be a facility that you can count on to be for several years versus potentially running into further issues on a renovation. The other option is we also had a more simplified layout of what this building could look like, where it gives you more of a straight rectangular geometric shape. Then you don't have quite as many cuts and curves, which it happens later on. But essentially, it's a rectangle building where that garage ends up being pretty flat to the other portion of the building. And that version also gives you a little more square footage to it. You're getting pretty close there. One more
Nope,
slide.
one more, there we go.
Yeah, it gets you a little more square footage in this version, simplifies not quite so many corners, gets you more square footage in this version as well, and the cost differential is pretty close. If I remember correctly, it was about $37,000. So you'd get more square footage in this version as well. Those are options, and what I want to keep in mind here is this is mostly a proposal to find somebody that is qualified and somebody that you can work with to now move forward and finalize a design and finalize a structure that works best for you. Cunningham Limp and Partners in Architecture, we're going through that exact scenario now with the county in designing the COB building. We didn't come in and say, this is what you're going to build and this is the price to do it. This got you the starting point to now work with your team and go, okay, what is the budget we're designing to? What do you want to achieve? What design decisions do you have? Maybe you don't like the peak on the front and where the signage is. You still have the control to make all those decisions. This is just a starting point to give you an idea and the feasibility of doing a project like this. So from here, if we are selected to move forward, we would provide, we'd immediately have a kickoff of a meeting to then start working with us as well as Partners in Architecture to actually go through the design process, let you make the decisions on what it looks like, what size it is, what functionalities you need, and then give you pricing updates as we go along that process, eventually reaching to the point that we've got a design that you like, that meets your functionality, and a price that you can afford to go do it. So that will be the process that we'll go through. At the end of that process, we would provide you with a guaranteed maximum price, and you still have the decision to make at that point to say, yes, go do it, or no, thank you, we decide not to move forward. So you still have all of the decision-making from here on out. We're just happy to at least be considered for this first step to start the process with you.
One thing we know from, thank you, Bobby. One thing we know from the central operations building in the 911, it's, as you'd mentioned, we're looking at basic ideas here. This is a conceptual design. What we're looking at here is not what we're going to see at the end of the process. It's a matter of we're picking a partner that we think can help work with us and come up with a design that meets the needs. So what we are asking to do is we are asking for authorization to select a proposal from Cunningham Limp for design build services and authorize myself as the director to negotiate an agreement and then for return to the Parks and Recreation Commission for approval.
So moved.
Second, but I
Second.
also want to chat about it.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got a motion on the floor, and we'll open it to discussion.
Who's on the review committee?
So it was myself, Kara, Chris Como, Chris Forsyth,
Maxwell Cameron.
Maxwell Cameron. Maxwell is our economic development coordinator.
Great. I seconded this, happy to support it. But next time we go with like large amounts of money, I'd love to see like the criteria you used and the scoring
Okay,
from the review committee, just so as I'm reviewing, I can see
sure.
your impressions. as
Okay,
well.
we did use a rubric
I'm sure
for
you
that.
did, yeah,
Yep.
but just to have it in the packet next time.
Yep, it's duly noted, thank you.
My question was, even if Cunningham Limp did not have any existing contracts with other county entities, I know that, of course, you're serving in a facilities capacity as well, would you still have selected them based on their proposal?
Yes.
Okay, can you explain in short why?
One of the big pieces in here was, see if I can find this particular point.
Trying to separate the facilities and parks world for us here.
This section really spoke to
Yes.
us. So when you see this section, this goes through and really
What
describes.
page, John?
I feel like I'm aging myself.
I'm
Could you
trying to
zoom
find
in
it
a
here.
little?
So, yeah, you can't read
Right
that?
there, one more page.
All right, it is in that proposal, page 11 in the supplemental proposal. So this section really goes into detail about how they would design this. what process are they going to go through, what it's going to look like. We liked the detail that was provided there that really gave us an idea of what they would recommend with that. That was a big piece. The designs that were provided, we like the creativity in the designs. They thought about the utilities that are on site and how can we find ways to not have to relocate utilities and not bring additional expense in that you would otherwise have if we didn't think about it the way that was thought of. The creativity and the detail that was put to this was appreciated.
And then, so it's noted for the record as well, I believe Cunningham Limp is a Traverse City-based company, is that correct?
Traverse City local office, yes.
Yes.
Bobby is located here along with a number of members of his team.
Does Three Rivers have a local office?
They do not.
Okay.
They're based out of Midland.
Thank you.
How about Partners in Architecture?
Partners in Architecture is based in Mount Clemens.
They do have a local architect that does live in Northwest Michigan, not Traverse City itself, but in Northwest Michigan.
Gotcha.
And as far as budget, just because I didn't
Yeah.
have this information before, how, like, is there a ceiling? a
So
floor?
so this is funded through a combination of things. So it's funded through a Michigan Economic Development Corporation Revitalization and Placemaking Grant that we received for $992,000 and change. That is combined with a match, so a 50% match from the county. I should say 50% match toward that grant. Part of that is being provided by Norte, so that part is going to cover the other portion of the pump track. So the pump track is about $475,000 to complete the pump track. They're providing half of that. The grant provides the other half. There's funding in there of about $150,000 that covers electronic message board sign at the north end of the park and another identification sign at the south end of the park. And then the remaining 1.3, 1.4 million, right in that range, is the amount that is dedicated to this particular project.
And this is coming in roughly 60% of that?
This is coming in, it was, what, 800,000, something like that, was how it was listed here. But we also know that there's going to be changes. We're well within the budget, though.
John, you mentioned utilities, and so some of that is, that building's got to be fully serviced with sewer, water,
Yes.
and of course, electric. But we've got the old sewer and water
Yep.
pieces to it.
Which we know that underneath that, well, we don't know what's underneath that slab, but we do know that about 50 to 75 feet away from the building, the pipes do this.
Oh,
All right? And that doesn't really work very well for flow. So we've already known that we needed to dig up those pipes. What we don't know is what's underneath that slab of a building that's that old. And by going this route, we eliminate that problem and we can put clean pipes into the system.
also, as we mentioned utilities, are there, and I'm trying to picture it in my head, trees and removals and things that are going to have to be in there?
Minimal, yes.
Minimal.
Minimal. And this design actually minimizes it as well.
I was going to ask if this design,
Yeah.
that will help us with the design.
Yeah,
to
our
minimize.
original thought was, let me think how to describe it. So it was having a driveway where you drive into the building and then have to make a turn to get in. And so making that turn with the trailer meant we would have to create more space and clear more space. By turning that garage, facing it forward.
Right
Yeah.
towards the parking lot, right?
Right, means that we no longer have to do that. And there's space to be able to make those turns there.
There, on page 22 of our packet too, we do have a overview, and now granted, this is the larger building, but it shows it overlaid on,
When you say the larger building, that's the all-new build?
it's the simpler version where it's kind of an L shape, where you don't have quite as many corners. But yeah, you can see how it lays out here. And that's really a site of over top where you can only see canopy coverage. But based on this look, it really should only affect one tree. Even if we did shift a slight bit to the north, that tree would likely still be be something that would be affected, but the rest of the trees are all in a fine location.
Also, then, do we lose or the basketball courts or any of
Nope.
that?
So-
That's all,
Yeah, the building, we're basically using the same, roughly the same perimeter of the building.
Okay.
So this line along here
Yeah.
is the same location as the existing building. So it's
Okay.
just overlaid on top of there, and the basketball court's over on this side. So that would not be affected.
And I haven't heard of any architectural style that's been discussed at the board level, at the commissioner level. Has there been any conversation, because there's a lot of new builds happening? Is there anything that ties all of, just like the signage that you're putting forth in all of the county parks, is there any architectural style that's being considered for all these, so that it kind of says, this is a Grand Traverse
Yeah.
park?
So there is consistency with the two buildings that are being built now. This design has some consistency to those buildings.
Okay.
Other than that, our remaining buildings are a mishmash of different
Most of our
concepts.
benches are too.
I mean, is that something that could be considered, though?
Certainly.
I mean, if you're looking at, if, like you discussed, you know, there's a lot of opportunity here to kind of put a stamp. I mean, it seems like an opportunity to me to put another way of people knowing that this is a Grand Traverse County park. Any new build going forward has a bit of a panache to it, or a
Yeah.
style.
Yeah, there's definitely consistency with this building, and more specifically, this building and the central operations building, in terms of the design features.
And as we'll go through the process, if you decide that, hey, we want to match exactly the brick that's part of the central operations building to this one, we'll present renderings of what that may look like, and you'll have the opportunity to make that decision. That'll be all part of the process versus, this is our design, this is what you get. This is a collaborative effort to make those design decisions as we go through these drawings.
John, do you anticipate us getting, not necessarily like the end all be all say, I don't think, but like, do you anticipate like a 60% design or something, having another presentation here that
Yep.
we can discuss? Okay,
Yeah.
I think that'd be nice. Not every month or whatever, but
We want to move quick on
some
that,
touch
so
points, yeah,
we'd like to see construction start and complete in 2026.
that'd be great.
I was going to jump in regards to moving quickly and encourage what we can do to have a finished functional bathroom portion of it, at least as soon as we can, I guess.
Yeah.
From my perspective, there's a lot of people that use that end of the park. Whether it's the playground or probably even people over in the amphitheater area and things like that. And the longer it's going to suck up probably a whole bunch of summer as it is. But if there's, I noted on one of the timelines laid out in there that at least this, it showed at least a September opening, possibly, which I thought was encouraging and hopeful, and obviously encourage anyways to compress things without losing quality, of course.
Yeah, what I will point out on 21, so if you go up one page, yeah, we have this construction timeline. So
Yep.
part of this will depend on how quickly design decisions are made. But if you look, just paying attention as you get down to the bottom half of this, the construction timeline will stay pretty consistent here. So once we get to the point of a full design and you've made a decision that you accept a GMP, as you can see, that bolded line about midway down, if we started construction, and this is saying March 16th, which that will again just depend on how quickly decisions are made, but just say whatever that time frame is of a start, you can see that it really is only a construction process of take down that building, restrooms are out of function for really 2.5, or not even a month and a half there. You get half of March, and then April, May, and you're back open in June. So 2.5 months that you'd likely be without restrooms. And, depending on when you would like to have those restrooms down, we can work around that piece. But obviously, if we can move quickly and make decisions quickly, this is something that you could have in place, well in advance of the really busy season up here.
That's great, thank you.
Yeah.
There's, with everything going on in that end of the park, it's huge.
Right.
That's one of the big reasons for the new restrooms and so on
Yes.
down there is. Any more discussion?
Only final question I have on this too is, of course, we're talking about incorporating a machinery storage space in an area of our park. Sure, we've done our due diligence already, but I would like to note it. Children, other individuals, all park users, I guess, really, won't be considered to be at significant risk to vehicles backing up or going into the space. I know, of course, Norte right now has kind of that wooden pump track that wouldn't be located in this area
It would
moving
not.
forward. All those considerations I know are in place, but it's just nice to get that publicly out there as well.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, the instance of backing trailers in here is very limited. It's basically a tractor and field grooming equipment is the majority of what lives there. So it's rare that this equipment goes off-site because it is intended for that site.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
That's all I have.
Don, are you looking for a
Looking for a motion, yes.
proposal?
I think we made a
We
motion.
have a motion on the
There it is.
table that
Made
was
it?
Yeah,
discussed.
there's some discussion.
Yeah, you were here.
Secretary, I'll ask for roll call vote, please.
Yeah, we would like a roll call vote. With that, John, are you?
I'm ready for that. Commissioner Callahan?
Yes.
Commissioner Boutbill?
Yes.
Commissioner Ettinger?
Yes.
Commissioner Commissioner Provo?
Yes.
Commissioner Jetter?
Yes.
Commissioner Kibble?
Yes.
Commissioner Smits?
Yes.
All right, motion passes.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Keep us on track to get it done.
Seems to be out there for hammer himself.
Well,
All right, and we will move to our second public comment. Do we have anyone for public comment? Last chance.
We'll
He's
sign,
saying,
we'll
"When do you
sign it
send my
off either way,
paper?"
don't worry.
All right, and, oh, sorry, you go ahead. I don't want to hijack your agenda here.
So it brings us down, second public comment done. Notices and commissioners' comments. Have anything we were going to talk about,
Yeah,
Andy?
just comment back on the item that was on consent calendar, and that suggestion that we take a look at some point at what has been received and filed, and do at least an internal audit as to whether or not those statutory requirements, if any, that are in the act are, number one, applicable today. You know, since it was 1965, I think the last amendment was 1994. It's been a while. But a similar episode took place at the Public Works Board. They had not looked at their governance with respect to the underlying state statute that created the organization. When they did an audit, it resulted in the elimination of 2 board members and the realization that 2 of the other board members had had their terms expired for over 2 years.
Wow.
So in this case, Section 14 has a requirement for park rangers meeting some minimum standards for training. And I suspect that it might be a training standard that no longer exists. But nonetheless, there are obligations built into the statute to the organization. I'm just suggesting we look at the statute and verify for our own benefit that we're compliant with state law.
I agree.
I don't know that we need to do a full action on
No,
this.
that's just a comment. You
But
asked for comments?
I think that those comments are well accepted. We probably, and that could be conducted internally.
I just have, yes, that's a suggestion.
Yeah.
And I have one other comment. It's the neatest thing I got for Christmas. You're waiting all meeting to do that.
So I think with that, John, I think, you know, we should just read that and
Okay.
conduct it. and-
We will add that to the list.
I got to put it back together.
Well, it's a useful instrument. You could change the sound, and it goes back with a different tone than it went out.
There we go.
With that, we are now, any other comments?
No.
We are adjourned.
Put them in series and parallel, different colors.
Do they sound different?
Kindergartners love it.
You can bring your sign off over.
Yeah, bring your sign
One
up.
thing I get to do
Thank
as
you all.
secretary, really. Sound things.
Thank you, everybody.